Hello children. Okay, now it's time to start with our PT2 portion. So we are going to start with literature readers unit number 7, glimpses of India. So this lesson is divided into 3 parts because we are going to peep in, or we are going to glimpse the 3 parts of India: Goa, Korg and Assam. So the first part deals with a baker from Goa, which is written by Lucio Rodriguez. Second part deals of we are going to deal with is Korg, which is written by Lokesh Abrol, and third is Tea from Assam. Okay, and it is written by Anup Kumar Datta. So before you read section, discuss in the class what images of people and of places come to your mind when you think of our country. So looking at our country and being a part of our country, I can say that it's diversified and we have many kinds of people and places over here. We'll find variety of languages, kinds of attires, people, color, race, caste, creeds. So damn variety is there. So it's different kinds of flavors are there in my country. So various kinds of things will be seen if we go through our country. Further, what parts of India have you lived in or visited? Can you name some popular tourist destinations? Okay, so in my childhood I have visited Bangalore, Ooty, Goa, and Tiruvananthapuram, like such places. Okay, and I can say these are popular destinations because people love to visit such places, especially in winter seasons. So you may know that apart from the British, the Dutch and the French, the Portuguese have also played a part in the history of our country. Can you say which parts of India show French and Portuguese influences? Of course, Goa. Goa is a place where French and Portuguese have visited. They stayed over there. They claimed they ruled that place at that time. So Portuguese and French essence can be observed, sensed in Goa today also. Can you say which parts of India grow tea and coffee? Tea, of course, Assam, and coffee, Korg, Karnataka, I guess. Okay, Korg for sure because it is there in this lesson. Tea, Assam, yes. So let us move towards our first part, a baker from Goa. So this is a pen portrait of a traditional Goan village baker who still has an important place in his society. So this is a pen portrait, means in his writings he had portrayed the traditional Goan village where baker who is still has an important place in his society. So he has written in his own words, our elders are often heard reminiscing nostalgically about those good old Portuguese days, the Portuguese and their famous loaves of bread. Reminisce. I'm so sorry. Reminiscing. Nostalgically means thinking fondly of the past. So the old people in Goa today also, they are nostalgic about the past of Goa. They still feel that the past is there, it is still there in the forms of loaves of bread. And who bakes the bread? Of course, baker. Those eaters of loaves might have vanished, but the makers are still there. Means those who loved to eat those kinds of loaves of breads, they are no more, they are dead. But makers, those who make the breads, they are still alive. Okay, in the form of their son, their grandson, daughters and granddaughters, in that way. Okay, we still have amongst us the mixtures, the molders, and those who bake the loaves. Okay, those old age old time tested furnaces still exist. So the bakers in Goa today, they still have the mixers, the molders, and those furnaces, old kind of furnaces, means it's like a stove or oven like thing, old kinds of ovens they still have there, and they bake their breads in the same things. They have not upgraded themselves, they have not moved to the advanced kind of ovens and all the things. Okay, So they are still stuck to the old kinds of cooking or baking things. The fire in the furnaces has not yet been extinguished. That means the furnaces are still used. Okay. The thud and jingle of the traditional baker's bamboo heralding his arrival in the morning can still be heard in some places. Maybe the father is not alive, but the son still carries on the family profession. These bakers are even today known as padder in Goa. So the thud or the jingle, traditional bakers bamboo heralding his arrival in the morning. So heralding his arrival means what bakers, how they sell their breads by carrying the basket on their head and by the jingling of the bell or by thudding the bamboo on the ground. They make the sound which through which the people come to know, yeah, the baker is over here, the bread seller is over here, and we have to buy the bread from him. So this is the heralding. Heralding means announcing that he has come and he has to sell his breads. So maybe the father is not alive, but the son still carries on the family profession. You have come to know the meaning of the sentence. These bakers are even today known as padder in Goa. So these bakers are known as padder. The old word for baker, that is padder, which is still used in Goa for bakers. During our childhood in Goa, the baker used to be our friend, companion and guide. He used to come at least twice a day, once when he set out in the morning on his selling round, and then again when he returned after emptying his huge basket. So bakers in the writer's childhood, bakers used to be their friend, companion and guide. Okay, and baker used to take two times around in the areas, once in the morning and second time while going back to the bakery. In the morning he used to carry the basket full of breads, loaves of breads, and while returning the basket was all empty. The jingling thud of his bamboo woke us up from sleep, and we ran to meet and greet him. Why was it so? Was it for the love for the loaf? Not at all. The loaves were bought by some Paskin or Bastin, the maid servant of the house. What we longed for were those bread bangles which we chose carefully. Sometimes it was a sweet bread of a special make. So when the writer was a child, he remembers then when the baker used to come in the morning, jingling and thudding his bamboo. They used to woke up, okay, and they used to run towards him. And what for? For the breads? No, they used to run for the bread bangles, specially meant for children. And children used to eat those bread bangles, and they used to choose carefully the bread bangles from his basket. That was the thing which attracted the author in his childhood. So the baker made his musical entry on the scene with the jang jang sound of his specially made bamboo staff. One hand supported the basket on his head and the other banged the bamboo on the ground. He would greet the lady of the house with good morning and then place his basket on the vertical bamboo. We kids would be pushed aside with a mild rebuke, and loaves would be delivered to the servant. But we would not give up. We would climb a bench or the parapet and peep into the basket somehow. I can still recall the typical fragrance of those loaves. Okay, loaves of for the elders and bangles for the children. Then we did not even care to brush our teeth or wash our mouths. So initially when the baker used to come in the morning, he used to keep the basket down on his vertical bamboo, and he used to greet the lady of the house. So these children used to rush towards him, but they used to get rebuke. Rebuke means scolding and pushing them behind. But still these children, they didn't give up at all. They made their way. They climbed on the parapet. They peeped into the basket. Okay, and they used to smell the aroma of those sweet loaves of breads. Further, and why should we? And when finally they choose the bread bangle, they never care about whether they have brushed their teeth or not. Further, the author says, and why should we care about we have brushed our teeth or not? Who would take the trouble of plucking the mango leaf for the toothbrush? And why was it necessary at all? The tiger never brushed his teeth. hot tea could wash and clean up everything so nicely after all. So what earlier children used to do, they never brushed their teeth with toothbrush and paste. For the mango leaf or mango twig was sufficient to clean your teeth, and it was the natural way of cleaning teeth. Earlier people used to use these twigs of neem tree or mango tree, which cleansed their teeth properly, and so they have long lasting teeth with them. And now the teeth, they are easily moving because we use artificial cleansing material to clean our teeth. Okay, now let us come back to the topic. So what the author says further, why would they wash the teeth? Because tigers, they never brush their teeth. He is calling himself a tiger, and hot tea could wash and clean up everything so nicely after all. Okay, marriage gifts are meaningless without the sweet bread known as the ball, just as party or a feast loses its charm without bread. Not enough can be said to show how important a baker can be for a village. So baker was very important for the village, because marriages, then any party, any feast was incomplete without bread. So baker was very important. The lady of the house must prepare sandwiches on the occasion of her daughter's engagement. Cakes and bolinas are a must for Christmas as well as for other festivals. Thus, the presence of the baker's furnace in the village is absolutely essential. So presence of baker and his furnace was important, because each and every festival occasion was incomplete without bread, cakes, and other bakery items. So baker was important in Goa and is important in Goa. The baker or bread seller of those days had a peculiar dress known as the kabai. It was a single piece long frock reaching down to the knees. In our childhood, we saw bakers wearing a shirt and trousers which were shorter than full length ones and full length ones and longer than half pants. Even today, anyone who wears a half pant which reaches just below the knees invites the comment that he is dressed like a padder. Padder means baker. So this is the attire. This was the attire of the bakers in the olden days of Goa. The baker usually collected his bills at the end of the month. Monthly accounts used to be recorded on some wall in pencil. It's olden times, a way of recording the bills. Baking was indeed a profitable profession in the olden days. The baker and his family never starved. His family and his servants always looked happy and prosperous. Their plump physique was an open testimony to this. Even today, any person with a jackfruit-like physical appearance is easily compared to a baker. So this is the story of the baker of Goa. So bakers, they used to collect money at the end of the month, every month end, and they used to record the bills with the pencil on the wall. So baker was very happy, and he was happy, his family was happy, he was very prosperous also, and this could be tested by his plump physique. Plump physique means pleasantly for fat body. So bakers were healthy. So today also, any jackfruit like figure person is easily compared to a baker. So this is a story about a baker from Goa. Now in the next video, we are going to deal with corks. Till then, leave your comments in the comment box. Watch this video, underline the difficult words and write them down in the notebook with proper handwriting. Watch this video and read this lesson in the textbook. Thank you.